Reddit is the hive of scum and villainy of the internet. It's just the worst people.
So he is being reactive to people's concerns and feedback. Hey, he looks like a bobblehead. I agree with you. I'm going to remove that from the movie. But there is definitely a legitimate concern that this could be overcrowded. There are a lot of extra characters in there. You have to develop the villain. You've also got these other heroes like Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific. That trailer where he's holding up the building and the lady looks up and there's Superman holding up a building, saving her life, felt like it was straight out of a comic book. James Gunn's Superman is debuting in a matter of weeks at this point. The numbers are all over the place, the projections. You can't nail down what's going on. There are apparently sabotage efforts out there from Snyderbros trying to kill off the momentum of James Gunn and Superman.
But it's weird how divisive this movie is. It's weird how, like, I mean, you were always going to get it because you got the Snyderbros and you got the, I don't know what James Gunn's super fans are called. And it's like, can a movie just be a movie? The numbers don't lie.
Riding on Superman. The future of the DCU itself is riding on this movie. Can they afford to lose more money? And it turns out, I guess it's one of the most expensive movies ever to make. They're saying the budget was over $360 million.
I don't know that I believe that. I mean, you know what? Hollywood spending is so out of control. I guess I can believe it. I don't know. It's a crazy amount of money to spend. But if you're looking at it as this movie is a loss leader for the rest of the DC universe that we want to build, then I kind of understand it. If it's just like if you're just looking at a one and done, which obviously they're not because they're building out a whole universe, I think it's insane.
The box office tracking for James Gunn's Superman, set to hit theaters July 11th, is all over the place. Early projections swing from a soft $90 million opening to a potential $175 million windfall. World of Real reports a narrower estimate between $90 and $145 million based on pre-sales and audience sentiment. On the high end, the film could surpass Batman v Superman's $166 million debut, but the low end would place it well below the Batman, which opened up to $134 million, nearly a $45 million gap. That spread has sparked debate over what the early numbers actually say about interest in Gunn's DCU relaunch, especially with such a wide range this close to release. It really feels like they can't narrow it down and really get a handle on whether this is going to be an enormous success or another kind of soft failure or whatever. I personally believe, and this is more on hope than anything, that Superman is going to do very, very well. I think it goes over like $160 million in the US, like $400 million worldwide, and Superman becomes a cultural phenomenon in the summer of 2025.
I think that, I think that's a good position to take, Wes, because Superman's, he stands for hope. I'm actually hopeful for it. I think that it might be the right movie at the right time, at least opening wise. I think that everything is so depressing for the most part. Everything coming out of media, everything that we're getting, and especially now where Hollywood has done nothing but this movie is an allegory for the Trump era, and that's all they've been able to do. And who knows if this movie is as well. But if you come out with a movie that's hopeful and optimistic and has a message that resonates with people and makes people feel good coming out of the theater, which is what a Superman movie should do. It's why I didn't like Man of Steel, because I was like, I shouldn't come out of a Superman movie feeling exhausted and depressed. If it does that, I think that not only will it have a great opening weekend, but I think that the movie will actually have legs.
I'm with you. I think Superman is more relevant to 2025 than he even was when he was created in the 1930s. And I do think if Superman does hit those notes and doesn't try to modernize the character, which certainly Zack Snyder was trying to do with Man of Steel, and really gets back to the essence of Superman, those foundational elements of hope, I think it'll get even bigger and bigger after the opening weekend.
Yeah, I think people are ready for a return to aspirational heroes. So the question is James Gunn able to nail that? Now, from Guardians of the Galaxy and things like that, I think that, like there's a lot of jokey characters in there. The characters are kind of screw ups. It's kind of that lovable losers come together and actually, find family and actually manage to make something of themselves. That's that type of movie. If you are able to take, but it's got heart. Those movies have heart and those characters have heart. So if you can take his ability to communicate heart and put it in Superman and keep Superman consistent with who Superman is and make that movie hopeful, make that movie aspirational, I think we're ready for a return to those aspirational heroes.
But it's certainly showing up at a very crowded time. I believe the week before Jurassic World Rebirth comes out, 2 weeks after is Fantastic Four First Step. So it's certainly going to have a lot of competition. I don't think Jurassic World is going to do as well as the past Jurassic World movies have done. I think Superman's going to do better than that. And even Fantastic Four, even though I think Fantastic Four just like as filmmaking, looks like a better effort and feels more true, at least in the trailers, to Fantastic Four. I think people are going to be drawn to this, but it is quite the gamble to open up right between those two big franchises.
It's hard to predict now because the movie-going audience is so kind of splintered and fractured, and things that they expect to be big hits turn out to be colossal flops, and things that they think are going to be mild successes blow up. So it's just become really hard to predict what's going to happen. Sometimes you can give movies time to kind of find their footing. It certainly happened with Guardians 3. Had a really soft opening, but good word of mouth got people to go. Even though, I think that the majority of people are kind of tired of Marvel and tired of the Marvel formula. People still went because they heard that it was good. I think that could happen. The Jurassic World movie is going to be the Jurassic World movie. It's dinosaurs. People are going to go see it.
And just to make things messier, a faction of hardcore Snyderverse loyalists has mounted a campaign to sabotage the film's release. A Reddit group is encouraging users to spam review sites with negative ratings, leak plot spoilers, and even reserve tickets without purchasing them to tank the presale numbers. They're calling it a fight for our Snyderverse, a last-ditch protest against Gunn's reboot. While some Snyder fans have distanced themselves from the campaign, the effort has sparked fears about artificially skewed data and bad faith online discourse poisoning the film's reception. Gunn, for his part, shrugged it off with a short, LOL, I think we'll survive, downplaying the movement's potential impact. But the backlash and debate around it continues to grow. I saw this thing where they were posting it up. Apparently it was on Reddit. From what I saw, it had like 1 or 2 upvotes, which isn't exactly promising or indicating that a lot of people were on board with that. Although it could have been like the very first minute it came out.
Reddit is the hive of scum and villainy of the internet. It's just the worst people. It's like, if this were the type of show that, like, you should have the clip in here now of William Shatner going, "Get a life, people." Like, you're going to organize a campaign against James Gunn's movie because you're ass mad that they didn't continue the Snyderverse. I'm sorry. The Snyderverse lost money. It wasn't great. It wasn't a good portrayal of the characters. Now, you can say, like, he got screwed on Justice League. He did. The Snyder cut of Justice League, I will admit, far better than the Joss Whedon monstrosity that was cobbled together. Studio interference is a big pain in the ass. But all that happened pre-Gunn. That has nothing to do with Gunn. And I know you're ass mad that, like, you didn't get to continue your little Snyderverse. You didn't get your little dour and dark DC universe that you wanted.
What kind of impact do you think a campaign on Reddit can actually have on a movie like Superman that I expect to do very well worldwide? Can it put a dent in it? Can it, wipe off $10 million of potential sales when people decide to get behind it? Or do you think this is just more performative?
I think it's performative. I think this will have as much impact on Superman as the trans boycott did of the Harry Potter video game.
Variety reports that James Gunn is reassuring audiences that Superman's large supporting cast, including Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, and Hawkgirl, won't overshadow the core story, which focuses on David Corenswet's Clark Kent finding his place in the world. Despite that, some fans remain skeptical, raising concerns that the film could feel overcrowded. That concern was echoed after early test screenings reportedly left some viewers confused by the ensemble dynamic. More recently, a brief wide-angle shot of Corenswet's Superman drew backlash online for making his face appear distorted, some comparing it to a bobblehead. Gunn responded by saying the shot kind of got by me and confirmed that it was being removed. So he is being reactive to people's concerns and feedback. Hey, we think this is overcrowded. You're going to have to trust me that it's not. Hey, he looks like a bobblehead. I agree with you. I'm going to remove that from the movie. That big reveal where he's talking about at the core of who Superman is his humanity as Clark Kent. That's always been kind of my Superman. Superman is the power set, but Clark Kent is the hero behind the power set that really makes him the hero and defines who he is. So I'm hoping that they do kind of hit that kind of stuff. But there is definitely a legitimate concern that this could be overcrowded. There are a lot of extra characters in there. You have to develop the villain. It appears that there's at least 2 or 3 extra villains besides Lex Luthor. You've also got these other heroes like Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific. That is a lot of characters that you have to introduce at the beginning stages of your DCU. I don't believe Superman's going to be taking a back seat or feel like he's on the sideline of his own movie, but he might not get the spotlight that I would hope he would get in a Superman movie.
Maybe it is overcrowded, but it seems like the main villain is Lex, but they threw in a lot of different Lex plots of him throwing them at Superman. So it could be really interesting. I want to see a good Superman movie. I would love it if it was a good, aspirational, hopeful Superman movie that hit all the right notes.
That trailer where he's holding up the building and the lady looks up and there's Superman holding up a building, saving her life. felt like it was straight out of a comic book.
Yeah, I saw another trailer today that it was like an international trailer, and I saw it and I watched it and I was like, man, this does look really good. Of course, they did cut the scene. He punches the guy in the mouth, and they cut the scene right before the teeth hit the camera. So I was like, oh, good. I hope that's only in like the 3D versions of the film. Did I like Henry Cavill more than I like Corrin Sweat? Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame he never got to play Superman. He only got to play Zack Snyder's Murder Man. But
Hyperion.
Yeah, or the Justice Lord Superman.
We shall see, but the numbers are all over the place. People are either very excited or they want this thing to fail. I can't figure out what the real tenor is out there, but I definitely want to see Superman. It sounds like you do, and hopefully James Gunn hits all the right notes.
It's all Steiner math right now, man. It's the numbers don't lie and they spell confusion. That's what's going on right now. We don't know where it's going to land. We don't know how it's going to turn out. Let's just sit back and enjoy the ride.
If you appreciate this and would like the entire Geek Fix podcast, because this is just a portion of it, you do need to go over to Think Critical Patreon, the Geek Fix podcast. Hope to see you there very, very soon. Link in the video description, because we're going to do some fun stuff in the not too distant future.